Hi, Chris. Thanks for having me on, and appreciate you taking me the time to talk about my beloved Leicester ahead of the game at the weekend. I think it really goes without saying this is going to be, I wouldn't say difficult, but not hugely enthused conversation from myself regarding my team's prospects this weekend, because quite frankly I expect absolutely nothing, but I'll go through some of the bits and pieces. So you've asked me to tell you what I've made of our season so far. Well, quite simply, in a word, it's been a disaster, and 5 minutes just quite frankly isn't long enough to go through all the current issues at the football club. But I think the main issue, and the main issue that we can sort right now, is the manager. And again, we probably need a separate show for it. Brendan Rodgers has been a great manager for Leicester, won us the FA Cup and the Community Shield, finished fifth in the Premier League twice, which goes down as one of our most successful managers in our history, and he's one of the longest serving managers at the moment in the Premier League. But the time has come for a change, and I think that this weekend's inevitable defeat, will probably spell the end for that. Our performances have been dreadful, particularly defensively. It's been all over the shop. It's been a horror show. Still, not really knowing what our best back four is, and Danny Ward, who's come in for Kasper Schmeichel. He deserves an opportunity, Chris, but he's proven himself just 5 or 6 games in that, quite frankly, he's not up to the level. Our transfer window was pretty non-existent in terms of players coming in. We always knew that would be the case, but the loss of Wesley Fofana completely derailed our summer. It distracted the start of the season, and we're still clearly recovering from that. What have I made of Tottenham's season? Thoughts on Conte? Well, I'm a massive fan of Antonio Conte, and I think pretty much everyone is. I think everyone recognises and respects what a top coach he is, and the signings that are made by Spurs this summer, perhaps a little controversially, I don't think actually massively improved Spurs' starting 11. But what I think it did, and most importantly what it did, is it moulds a squad which Antonio Conte wants, and it actually improved the squad for Spurs. Now, I know that Richarlison has made quite the impact in terms of the way that Spurs fans feel about him, but me, along with many, many others, remain unconvinced by him as an actual footballer. The one that I'm a big fan of is Ivan Perisic. He's somebody I've watched for many, many years. I think he's a top-class player. He can play either in the wing-back or the wing positions, and I think that actually, particularly in wing-backs, that's, in my opinion, where Spurs were weakest, and that undoubted quality and experience which Ivan Perisic brings into the squad this season for both Premier League and Europe, I think will prove invaluable. And yeah, I think ultimately he will be successful. Now, whether you win a trophy or not, because ultimately that's what it boils down to, doesn't it? That elusive trophy. Will Antonio Conte be the guy that does it? He should be. So we'll have to wait and see. Plenty of other decent managers, though, have been in and out on Spurs and not quite managed to get over the line in terms of getting that trophy. But no, I think Antonio Conte is the real deal. I really do. Do I think that you should be looking out for anyone in particular at the weekend from Leicester's perspective? Again, it's a little bit difficult because our issues are so clear that it's at the back, that it's perhaps then reflecting negatively on our attacking positions, because actually, Chris, in an attacking sense, we're pretty decent. James Maddison has been outstanding now for a season and a half. No English midfielder is making the same kind of numbers as he is in terms of goals and assists. So he'll be desperate to impress once again, and I suppose in a way a point to prove after once again being missed out by England. The big one really for me is up front, that Jamie Vardy is still our best number 9. He is. There's no question about it. But I have a feeling that you'll probably see Patson Daka and Kelechi Iheanacho start up front together against Spurs. Reason being is that they both started against Brighton and they both scored and they both looked really good. And I think that potentially there's a makings of a decent partnership between the two. So maybe controversial, but I think actually Vardy may be on the bench on Saturday. Predicted lineup and score prediction. I think that Leicester will probably go with Danny Ward in goal, James Justin at right back with Johnny Evans and maybe the new signing Wout Faes, but I suspect it will probably be Daniel Amati alongside him at centre half. At left back will be Luke Thomas, and then a midfield 3 of Soumare, Dewsbury Hall and Tielemans, and then Barnes, Maddison, maybe either side of Vardy. But again, that one kind of depends. I'm still umming over whether that'll be Vardy or if one of Daka or Iheanacho come in. We'll have to wait and see. At the moment, as I'm sure you can imagine, when you're not winning, the formation and the lineup tends to change quite a lot as you go searching for that winning formula. So yeah, a little bit unsure what it may well be. So yeah, I'm going with hope rather than any kind of expectation. I fully expect Spurs to win this game, and I also fully expect it to be Brendan Rodgers' last game in charge, and they'll probably make that change heading into the international break. And if we do make that change, then I have no problems and fears about Leicester going forward this season. I still think we should be at least in the mid-table, but unfortunately, the Premier League is a pretty ruthless place to be, and we need to make a change for that to happen. The longer we leave Brendan in charge, the more likely it is we get dragged into something which we really shouldn't be involved in. But as I said, I think that we'll lose at the weekend, and I think it'll be Brendan's last game in charge. Chris, I hope you're well, and I hope to see you soon.